before you buy something, ask yourself this one question. How many hours of work would it take for me to buy this? Because a lot of purchases feel small when you look at them as dollars, but they start to feel very different when you look at them as hours of your life. That $250 pair of shoes might not feel that expensive, but if that's 8 hours of work for you, that's an entire workday. And when you start thinking about purchases like that, it can completely change how you look at impulse spending. In this video, I want to show you why this question works so well, how to use it, and one thing to keep in mind so it doesn't make managing money feel exhausting. My name's Obi. I've been studying personal finance for over a decade, and one thing I've learned is that the simplest mental shifts can have the biggest impact on your spending habits. Most people think impulse spending happens because of a lack of discipline. They think, I just need more willpower, or I need a better budget. And while those things absolutely matter, there's another reason impulse spending happens that doesn't get talked about enough. See, money is abstract. When you see a price tag that says $200, it's easy for your brain to just see a number. It doesn't feel like time. It doesn't feel like effort. It just feels like a number on a screen. So when you're scrolling online and you see something that you like, it's easy to justify the purchase. Your brain thinks it's only $200. But when you convert that into hours of your life, it becomes a lot more real. Instead of thinking it's $200, now you're thinking that's 7 hours of work. And that small shift forces your brain to slow down for a moment. And that pause is often enough to stop an impulse purchase. But here's where this gets even more interesting. Because once you start thinking this way, it doesn't just change whether you buy something. It changes what feels worth buying at all. So let's go back to that question for a moment and look at how it actually works. Here's the question. How many hours of work would it take for me to buy this? The way you figure it out is simple. You take the price of the item and you divide it by what you earn per hour. Let's say you make $30 an hour and you're thinking about buying something that's cost $240. That purchase isn't just $240. That purchase is over 8 hours of work when you factor in taxes. That is an entire workday. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't buy it. That's not the point. The point is that our brain processes that information differently. And when you do this consistently, something interesting starts to happen. You start to realize that some of the purchases aren't actually worth the time that it costs you. I remember back when I was in high school, I was working a job where I made about $10 an hour. And if I wanted to buy something like a new iPhone that costs around $1,000, that would have taken over 100 hours of work once you factor in taxes and everything else. Now, $1,000 sounds like a lot, but 100 hours of your life hits completely different. That's multiple weeks of work. And again, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't buy something like that. But thinking about it that way forces you to ask a much better question. Is this actually worth that much time? Because every dollar you spend represents time you worked to earn it. And when you start thinking about purchases that way, it becomes a lot easier to spot things that just aren't worth it. But this is where I want to add an important nuance, because this question is powerful, but you shouldn't apply it to everything. In fact, if you try to use this on every single purchase, it can actually backfire. This question works best for bigger, non-essential purchases. Think lifestyle upgrades, impulse purchases, or random Amazon buys. Those are the decisions where this pause can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars over time. But if you start doing this for every small purchase, it can quickly become exhausting. You don't need to calculate the hourly cost of a $3 coffee, or every item at the grocery store, or other basic necessities. And you definitely shouldn't use this as a way that makes you feel guilty about spending money on things that fit within your budget and actually matter to you. What this question really does is it creates a pause, and that pause is often enough to stop the purchases that don't really matter, which means you have more money left for the things that actually do. And if you're trying to get better at saving money in general, I put together a free savings guide that walks through some simple strategies to help you start building real momentum. You can grab that using the link down in the description below. One mistake a lot of people make after learning an idea like this is going too far in the opposite direction. They start thinking that they need to cut every expense and save absolutely everything. But that approach can actually backfire. So in the next video, I'm going to break down why extreme saving can work against your financial progress and what a healthier approach actually looks like.